Hey everybody, this is Melissa again here at CPAC 11, and joining me, as you all know from before, is Ted Cruz, former Texas Solicitor General, and he is running for Kay Bailey Hutcheson's open seat here in Texas, and it's going to be a wild and woolly primary.
I think that's right. It's great to be with you, Melissa.
Well, thanks for talking to me. Now, I've got a couple different questions. One is, what makes you, because the competition is going to be so fierce in this primary, people are going to, and good people, right? You know, like in some primaries, and some it's like they all stink. In this one, there's a lot of good candidates. What do you think separates yourself from them?
Everyone who's in the race is a friend of mine, and I agree with you. They're good people. I like and respect them. In my judgment, this race is going to be about which candidate is best prepared to stand up to fight Barack Obama and to stop the Obama agenda. And my campaign for U.S. Senate is based on two principles. Number one, new leadership. I think people are hungry for new leaders and not the same old establishment leadership that's been in office a long time. And number two, a proven conservative record. As you know, I spent 5.5 years as the Solicitor General of Texas. Over and over again during that time, Texas led the nation, standing up, fighting for conservative principles, and winning on a national level. I think we are at a fundamental crossroads in our nation, and the question that we are battling over right now is, does this nation remain a free market nation? And I think there is a desperate need for leadership in Washington to come and defend free market principles, to defend individual liberty, and to defend the Constitution.
All right, I have a question for you, because I have this sense, being from Texas, there's a lot of people who are like, that's a totally red state, it's so red. But I lived there, and I don't think it's nearly as red as some people would think. There's pockets of liberal leadership, especially in the cities, and in a statewide race like you're going to have, you're going to be convincing a lot of, you're going to have to win a lot of votes from all over.
Right.
And what do you think about that for the future? Do you see Texas staying conservative? Do you see...
I do think Texas will stay conservative. In particular, I think Texas embody common sense principles of freedom. One of the things that really defines who we are as Texans is a frontier mentality. A powerful belief in individual liberty, a powerful optimism, a belief that any one of us with a horse and a gun and an open plain can conquer the world. And I think that has led to the incredible influx of people coming into our state every day. It's led to the unprecedented prosperity and abundance of jobs we've seen. And the reason is simple. Freedom works. Liberty works. Low taxes, low regulations, an environment that encourages entrepreneurs to flourish works. And part of the biggest problem with what President Obama is doing is when the federal government keeps growing larger and larger, exercising more power over the economy and our individual lives, what goes away is freedom and individual opportunity.
The federal government, even on the Republican side, although it seems to be changing, has been kind of like not interested at all what states want to do, very big into mandates. What do you see as a senator you could do to change that? Sometimes I feel like it's almost impossibly overwhelming that we've gone so far down the road that they're not going to be able to, you know, kind of get it back.
You know, it is a major challenge. That's certainly true. But one of the great blessings, I am incredibly optimistic. And the reason is this president has been so radical that he has sparked a great awakening. I think the Tea Party movement is the most promising thing to happen in politics in decades, because millions of Americans, Texans, are standing up to defend individual liberty and to hold on to the free market tradition of our nation. Now, what is it going to take? It is going to take real, serious leadership. It is not going to take more of the status quo. It's going to take leaders who are committed to go and seriously cut the federal budget, not just slow the rate of growth, but cut it. Seriously restrict the power and authority of federal government and seriously respect the Constitution. And as you know, during the time I served as Solicitor General, perhaps what I was best known for nationally was one of the leading defenders of federalism, of the 10th Amendment, and one of the leading advocates of limiting the authority and the power and the spending of the federal government.
All right, so let me just ask you one last question before we go about, since this is your area, we've had a couple big rulings come down from the federal level, 4 of them, split decisions. Now the last one from, was it Visner? Is that his name?
Vincent.
Huh?
Vincent.
Vincent, sorry. Dyslexic. And I wrote all about it, and here I am forgetting his name. Anyway, I thought that his all of his findings were so interesting, very straightforward, and kind of the obvious conclusion.
Right.
But what do you think? You're a lawyer. Do you think you've seen all these different opinions,
right,
and they're conflicting? What do you think about the severability clause, and what do you think about the individual mandate and everything?
Let me say 2 things in response to that. Number 1, I think the decisions both in Florida and in Virginia are fantastic and are cause for great celebration. In both instances, the federal court concluded that the individual mandate of Obamacare is unconstitutional. I agree with that. In Florida, it says something that 26 states, a majority of the states of the Union, are suing to strike down Obamacare. That's really quite remarkable. Those cases will go on appeal. I think they will eventually reach the U.S. Supreme Court. And in my judgment, and as you know, most of my career has been litigating before the Supreme Court. In my judgment, a majority of the Supreme Court, more likely than not, will agree that the individual mandate is unconstitutional. Now, that being said, the second point I want to make is I don't think we should count on the courts to save us. The solution at the end of the day fundamentally has to be political. It's not just, legal challenges are wonderful,
right,
but what we desperately need is real leadership politically to go and champion individual liberty, to go and repeal every single word of Obamacare. We have a moment that's really an historic moment. There is a seriousness of purpose in terms of addressing the train wreck, the economic and fiscal train wreck we are headed towards in terms of our debt and our deficit. And what we desperately need is real leadership that will stand up and address it to preserve liberty for the future. And the reason I'm running for Senate is, of everyone in the field, in my judgment, my record, my proven record of over and over again standing up and fighting for conservative principles, not just talking a good game, but actually walking the walk, fighting and winning, is much stronger than anyone else in the race. And what I would do, Melissa, I would encourage all of your listeners to come check out our website and decide for themselves. The website is tedcruz.org, and on Facebook, we're facebook.com/TedCruz page. And in particular, what I would point everyone to is a page on the website that is labeled a proven record. Just about every other candidate has an issues page where they tell us what we think, what they think we want to hear on every issue. On our page, I don't simply give stock answers on every issue. I talk about my record over and over again, standing up and fighting for the principles you and I believe in, the principles of liberty, of limited government, of free market economics, and of defending the Constitution.
Okay, well, you heard it, guys. Everybody needs to go to tedcruz.org, O-R-G, not com, org. And thank you so much for coming and talking to me again, and I look forward to this very interesting race. I have to tell you, it's causing me pain because I like everybody. So anyway, so thank you very much, and good luck.
Well, thank you.